You ready, buddy?
Yeah, let's go.
I can't use my hands. I don't know how to...
Back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle. Ugh. So, Yuusha, thank you for joining me for this video. What are you drinking? You got anything on you right now?
I'm drinking coffee.
Wow.
It's like 11 a.m. here, so yeah.
We're going to talk about my most recent video. First off, can I just say to everyone who has watched the video and subscribed and commented, thank you so much. I was not expecting anything. Like
Yeah, it blew up.
Yeah, I mean it's blown up like within the context of my channel. So for just a little bit of context for anyone who's interested, I used to do YouTube forever ago. I stopped doing YouTube. I disappeared, and I came back, and I'm doing videos I really enjoy doing. And then I was like, I'm gonna do this the scalping video to sort of supplement my channel, and it did more than supplement the channel. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for commenting, liking, and I hope that you guys can rage watch this as well. And please enjoy my other content. Cheers, buddy. So let's get into it. I have collected a couple of angry comments from my video. Let's go with the first screenshot that I have. So this is from The False Esquire. No, it will never stop. Things of perceived value will be hoarded and then resold at greater value than the original price. The earliest thing I could recall was tulips. You'd buy a ton of bulbs for future value back in the olden times, and the more recent thing that happened that when I was growing up was the downfall of the Beanie Babies. This is just another step down the evolutionary trend of scalping. Pretty cringe, yes, but it makes for some great content to cover. I agree, and I guess I didn't do proper research for my video because this tulips issue I had no idea about.
Yeah, I'm like, how olden times are we talking?
Not just that, but how do you know that? And I asked this guy in the comments, I was like, were you around for the tulips? Like
Yeah.
And then
I'm like, how old is this guy? Well, I found it. So apparently, it was referred to as tulip mania, or tulip, however you say it. I'm Scottish.
Yeah.
Was a period during the Dutch Golden Age when contract prices for some bulbs of the recently introduced and fashionable tulip reached extraordinarily high levels. The major acceleration started in 1634, so we're talking very olden times.
Very olden times. That is
crazy. From 1634 until 1637, when it dramatically collapsed, called tulip mania or tulip fever. Like, I guess ties into our definition of scalping, I suppose. We briefly touched on this before we hit record, trying to cover the distinction between scalping specifically and price gouging, which we will go into. But basically, when this happened, tulips were a hot ticket item. They were new. They were just recently, like, I guess, discovered or introduced or whatever into like certain economies, and I think that therein lies the distinction. So we'll cover that a little bit more later. But
a little bit more.
Tulip mania, everyone. Every day's a school day.
Through the research of my video, I knew that Cabbage Patch Kids wasn't the first one.
That's the famous one.
It's the most famous one. The one that I read that was like the first one, the first big craze was Barbie, like in the 50s. I could be totally wrong there, but that was the one that I had researched and found. But I was like, I don't really want to talk about Barbie. I want to talk about Cabbage Patch Kids. This one is going to be a little bit longer. This is from Yay. My personal history with scalpers is the Disney community. I buy Disney pins and merch exclusively secondhand, and one of my favorite characters is Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. He got popular again thanks to Disney's 100th anniversary, Epic Mickey getting a remake, and the character itself getting into the public domain a couple of years ago. Disney released new merch for him, and almost instantly scalpers took all the Oswald merch and started reselling it for $100 plus more than it's actually worth. I literally can't even get a pin of the character that got me interested in rubber hose
animation
and animation history because of these guys.
So I thought you said pen, so I'm quickly just looking up pin to see the distinction there. I mean, I'm seeing a pin here that's $50, so I don't know
I mean,
how bad it is, but I assume this person knows what they're talking about. Like, I'm not seeing any crazy prices, but I do think it's wild that an Oswald pen set from apparently Japan can sell for £132. So, I mean, clearly the character has some sort of like inflation associated with it.
that one's interesting to me as well, just because Disney is crazy, and I'm surprised we don't see that with Disney more often. I mean, maybe we do, but I'm not necessarily a Disney stan.
You're not a Disney file?
I'm not a Disney file, man. This one is from
Z
Oh,
Z the Wise.
do you want to read this one for me?
The 25th Pokemon Anniversary McDonald's card scalping. Crazy. Which, this one's interesting because I actually partook in this one a little bit, I won't lie.
Oh, okay.
People stole boxes of the cards, bought dozens of Happy Meals, and throwing out the food. A few McDonald's put out hard limits on how many Happy Meals a person could buy at a time. These scalpers were ruining the event. Checking online as of this post, someone is selling a set for $100. Another is selling the pack for pack of 4 cards for $14 each, which is insane. So this one's interesting because I did partake. I've got a bunch of cards somewhere here of the 25th Pokemon Anniversary McDonald's. I recall buying more Happy Meals than a grown 31-year-old man should. But it got to the point where like I went to my local McDonald's and just asked them, can I just like straight up buy a few packs from you? Like just the cards. And they were like, yeah. Sure. It wasn't particularly mad where I'm at, but I have seen there's a clip online, quite an infamous clip of this like dude with like a really big bushy beard in McDonald's holding a big fuss because the McDonald's has no Pokemon cards. So this is a very real issue that caused a lot of problems for McDonald's workers. And one thing I will say, be nice to your McDonald's workers. They don't get paid enough to deal with your tantrums. I've got so many of like these cards, but not all of them have like the 25th anniversary logo on them. So like these are the ones I recall the most. So like there's these like glittery Fuecoco.
Yeah, okay.
And then there's like a Cetitan one.
Okay.
And then the ones that I had in mind were the ones that had this, like the little like 25th anniversary logo, like just in the corner.
This is another one that made me want to really do this video. Divisible by Waffle. Same story with me, but with the Shadow the Hedgehog Build-A-Bear. A $30 plushie going for hundreds. I'm sick of people who refuse to better themselves or find something they can do, make, or contribute, and instead settle for holding people's hobbies hostage and mocking them every step of the way. This guy goes off, dude. When I read this comment, I like woke up and I read this comment. I was like, damn. I like how this guy writes. Looking down their noses at other people and being generally awful about it. I will never support these sellers. I can go without. I love this guy. I love this guy so much. Divisible by Waffle. Have you by chance looked up the Shadow the Hedgehog Build-A-Bear? $30. I got a lot of comments about the Shadow the Hedgehog Build-A-Bear.
Because I don't really know much about Build-A-Bear.
Neither do I. I didn't know it was gonna be this kind of thing until this.
Because like my partner's really into Build-A-Bear things. Like she actually like doesn't own them, but she's like, we need to go to Build-A-Bear. We need to do it eventually. And I'm like, okay. So I don't really know a ton about it. I just know that they get really cool character deals and stuff like that a lot of the time. Yeah. Often Pokemon. They get some interesting Pokemon ones.
Yes.
I'm seeing, so it's out of stock on Build-A-Bear and it sells for £32 where I'm at. And there you go. On eBay, $199.99, and that's in dollars.
I saw a listing that was like $700, and
that's just crazy.
Can you do me a favor real quick? And it'll drive me crazy. Go to eBay and look up sold listings.
Ah, fuck.
The issue is that people are buying. Like that's the problem, is that people are buying from the scalpers, which we'll kind of get into as we go along, but if you buy from the scalpers, they're going to see that it works and they're going to sell.
Oh my god. Okay, so this one in particular, which I'm going to highlight on the recording, is clearly by the same seller. Because it's the same picture for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 listings, and delivery is $40, no, £40, and the price of the product itself, the shadow, £152. So that's about almost $200 for that. And they've cleared, and this is sold listings, so they've sold another one for 178. So they've sold about like 5 of these. That's a lot of money to. Oh God, it's crazy. People are paying obscene amounts of money for this stuff, like upwards of 200 like pounds just on one item that should be £30.
Exactly. And that's what I kind of wanted to say, because there is a reply to this comment, and we got him, boys. We got a scalper in the comments. We found him. we
got him in 4K.
Everyone, let's get him. The scalper's name. I won't say the scalper's name.
Well, I think we should say we don't have confirmation necessarily that he's a scalper, right? But we assume he is.
Assume they're a scalper. Also, just to cover my ass, don't bully this person. Their life is sad
allegedly
enough.
A scalper.
Yeah, their life is sad enough.
Allegedly. They
reply to Divisible by Waffles comment, and they say, "This is entitled behavior." And what? Like, what do you mean by this is entitled behavior? There is nothing entitled about wanting to buy a new collectible or a collectible in general at MSRP. There's nothing entitled about that. What a weird backwards ass mindset.
If anything, it's the opposite. Scalpers are entitled because they think they can take it and sell it for a profit. Maybe not entitled, but like it's verging on entitlement, because they're like, oh, why would I just buy one when I can buy like 70 of them? Because I've seen pictures of scalpers. They don't just buy like 10. If they can't, they'll buy like hundreds of something.
They'll get everything.
I've seen scalpers with like 151 Pokemon packs, like the big boxes, like a massive like crates worth of the stuff, and they're just standing in front of it, happy because they're selling it at like a crazy profit.
Yeah,
and probably, you know, it's just like, it's not entitled behavior to want to buy something at its intended price.
Exactly, and it's not entitled behavior to like be willing to buy it at its intended MSRP. You know, like, what a crazy ass backwards way of thinking. And then someone else who was on the scalper's side said something along the lines of, let's see here, "This is how I'm paying through college right now. LMAO, let them cry. It is a flex." It's not a flex. Like, this is it. I am okay with you wanting to pay off your college and getting through college. Like, how, you know, people, it's fine. Like I get that. But to be like, it's a flex to be a scalper. It's not a flex to be a scalper. Learning a new language and moving to a different country and becoming, let's say, a professional wrestler. That's a flex. Busting your ass and learning how to code and becoming a game developer. That's a flex. Scalping, taking advantage of people, like, that's not a flex. You're a
I think the irony is, right?
I'm getting angry.
This is in a comment thread that isn't in the original post says, holding people's hobbies hostage and mocking them every step of the way. And they're just proving that this is the case. If they are in fact scalpers, they're doing so with like this bravado about them, that like that they're better than you, that they're like some kind of grafter. These are the same kind of people who try and sell you some kind of crypto scam. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you got to get in and like buy low, sell high, all that shit. And it's like, okay, not everything needs to be like a pyramid scheme, essentially. Like, I don't know where you get off being prideful about the fact that you're essentially scamming people, because it's disgusting. And I'm going to call you out on that and say it's disgusting behavior.
It's taking advantage of people, which is wrong no matter how you do it. But taking advantage of people and then being like, it's a flex. Oh, yeah, look at me flex. I paid off my... I think someone was like, I went through high school being a scalper or whatnot. And I'm like, why? like I'm sorry, but what a weird, I don't know, be a normal teenager. Have a normal whatever. It's dude, I'm getting
It's
furious.
the
I'm
it's the
getting
kind of
furious,
people.
man.
It's the kind of people who like will sell things on eBay but consider themselves an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You know, it's like I'm not a scammer. I'm an entrepreneur. I saw a gap in the market. I'm smarter than you. I'm better than you. And it's like, okay,
You sound like them.
no,
You sound like them.
yeah,
You sound like
yeah.
them. I got some of it out. I got some of it out. And I feel a little bit better. But there's like
Just thinking back to your part in the video where you're like, no,
I
scream into pillow, you know.
Alex from the console video. She's my next door neighbor, and she had messaged me after that. She was like, "You all right?" Because she could hear me, and I was like, "Oh, did you hear me?" And she was like, "Yeah," and the people upstairs could hear you as well because I was talking to them, and they were upstairs, and they were like, "Is Free all right?" And she was like, "I think he's filming something." This comment is from Keldawat, Hello Kitty / Sanrio fan here. I just talked about scalping being a problem in my community last week. They flip extremely cheap blankets, $17.99 to about $25.99 for hundreds of dollars. I will never forgive those Pokemon card scalpers for changing the market and raising the price of a singular pack. I couldn't find any packs at Target for months. These guys ruined everything, and I'm truly worried about hobbies that were once affordable becoming impossible to afford. Hey! So I can't comment on the Hello Kitty or the Sanrio because I no research into it. But I do want to shout out this creator, Keldawat, because she does have like a 30-minute video on her channel talking about it. It has blown up for her channel. Give it a watch. I recommend it because it's someone talking about like the specific issue in that specific community. So definitely give that a watch if you're just interested in this thing.
My partner is quite into Sanrio, so like this is hers. This is sitting on my desk for some reason. There's a shop in the UK called Primark. Yeah, there's a shop in the UK called Primark, and they often have like lots of brand deals and stuff like that. And I can maybe get like a picture of it or like take a picture of it. There's these little like Hello Kitty trays that you just keep like, I don't know, random stuff in. She bought a couple of them, or no, she bought one for £4 was how much they were selling for. And then she was like, I wish I got a second one. So she ended up having to buy one off Vinted for £12 to get a second one. And this is stuff that was actually still in stock. The reason like we didn't go to get another one is because Primark's quite far away from where we live. So she was like, okay, I'll just order this one for a little bit extra. But this is stuff that was still in stock and was being essentially scalped. So unfortunately, she did pay a scalper.
Yeah.
To some extent, anyway.
Well, I'm going to be going to your guys' house in like a year or so. So make sure that sink is ready because I'm going to pee in it, baby. I'm going to pee in your fucking sink, boy. When it comes to not being able to find Pokemon cards at Target, I went back to America last month, and I was there for like 2 weeks. And I checked every single Target and Walmart that I would go to, and I there are no Pokemon cards. I just wanted to see if I could find them. I wasn't looking to buy them, but
I heard Target stopped selling Pokemon cards because they couldn't deal with like the craziness it caused, basically. Target, so this is from a while ago, it's from Reddit 2021. Target will stop selling Pokemon cards starting May 14th after multiple incidents of theft, guns being pulled on customers buying Pokemon cards, and having to call police to get scalpers to stop camping out at Targets. It ties into, I told you this story a while ago. There's a British retailer who's done the same. It's like a small trading card shop who has also ceased, or I don't know if they've entirely ceased Pokemon cards, but at the very least they said they weren't going to stock the new one. Is it like the Terra ones? I forget what they're called. They said they're not going to stock it because Pokemon cards in the past have caused people to rob them to get in and steal Pokemon cards, and it's just, it's basically hurting their bottom line, and they're just not going to do it because it just, I don't know what has happened with Pokemon cards. I don't feel like it's ever been this bad, and it sucks because I only started recently collecting Pokemon cards, and I think when I said to you I'm going to start collecting Pokemon cards, you were like, "Don't do it, don't do it," and I was like, "I'm going to do it," and it's been a bit rough. I won't lie.
Round 2. Woo! That one came off easier. I'm better when I'm drunk.
Hey.
All right, here we go.
Drunk after one Guinness.
Hey, next. I like this comment a lot because it boils it down to what the solution is, and it even gives an example. Here we go. It's from Raven's Nerd World. I love collecting Pokemon along with other franchises, and honestly, more communities need to do what the Bratz community did for the Mean Girl release, XD. Scalpers went in, bought the dolls, and everyone just refused to buy from scalpers, and then they all had to drop their prices. There you go, guys. Learn from Bratz doll collectors. Like, that's the solution. Because if you go online right now and you look up that Skull Kid statue that I had talked about in the video, it's low in price. I could buy that statue right now. The solution is to not need it now. And either it's going to probably stay about the same. Like let's say someone's trying to someone scout something and they're going to try to sell it for $100. It's going to either stay at that $100 for a while, or it's going to go down. Cuz like the scalpers they have to spend the money. And then if they don't get money back, then they lose. So, yeah, as this person says, let's learn from the Bratz community. What a weird sentence to say out loud.
This is a new thing, apparently. This is from 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
Is it said but it says Mean Girl release. So would it not have been when Mean Girls came out?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is because there was I know this because my partner works in a cinema. There was a new Mean Girls film in the past year or so. So this might actually be a recent thing. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. These are brand fucking new. These are brand new. I think it is based on the original film though. But yeah, that's weird.
I didn't even know.
On the original film.
Didn't even know that Bratz were still around. To be honest with you, my cousin was obsessed with them. So yeah, I'm learning so much by these comments, and it makes me happy because there's just so much stuff that I'm being exposed to. Some of it makes me real angry, but I
think what's nice is that one thing this deep dive has exposed us to is the fact that even if it's not at the forefront of your mind, people are still out there enjoying their small communities, and
it's not just nerds.
Sadly, we're in the Pokemon community, and that one's absolute cancer.
We are not just that, but I think you and I specifically are in the Nintendo community, and
yeah, we've seen our fair share of bullshit in this space.
And I feel like I learned from the amiibo craze that I'm I don't need to really. I never will have to fret with scalpers again because I don't think there's ever going to be anything that I'm going to be chasing that much, and the next Nintendo Switch was announced. The Nintendo Switch 2. Thank you, Guinness.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it, but I'm if this might get scalped, and that's okay because I don't need it on day one.
Yeah.
I don't have to fight for this, and it's very nice feeling that way. And I think if people just sort of accept that it's okay to feel that way, then people can buy stuff later. The current Pokemon card set probably is gonna be available in a couple months. This next comment was the comment that made me want to make this particular comment video, or commentary video, and I'm gonna need Baby's First Whiskey back out for this. All right, so this comment is from Belle Aim, who has been a follower and a subscriber of mine for since early Freezax days. So she's always been really cool. She comments on everything.
Friend of the channel.
Basically friend of the channel. Yeah, I love her very much. So this is from Belle Aim. I have many experiences with seeing scalpers, sadly. The worst personal experience I waited in line for the mini SNES system. Never had a NES or a SNES as a kid. It was at Best Buy, and their pre-order situation in this case was that people could pre-order half of the stock that would be shipped in. The non-pre-ordered ones were gone within minutes, but you had the option to wait in line in case people didn't pick up their pre-orders within the limited time. I was third in line, and there were 5 systems left. The 2 people ahead of me got one each, and I felt good about my chances. At the actual last minute, a disheveled guy rushes in and collects the 3 mini SNES. Then, as he's walking out, and I'm holding back tears, I hear him telling someone on his cell that he made it in time and was able to hit up all the local Best Buys within the limited time and got 12 of them. It felt so bad. Bell, your story makes me want to cry, bro. That's because I cry when I'm drunk. Like,
free professionalism.
Yeah. I'm famous now, bitch. I got 10,000 views in 1 week.
I remember the craze when the mini NES and the mini SNES were going on. Like, I think it was the NES in particular. I remember nobody could get one for the longest time. Like, they were just crazy out of stock everywhere.
Yes.
But I think more to the point with this story, Bell, we talked about this slightly before we started recording a little bit as well, and this one just got us riled up because it's so disgusting. It is so just like, it's heartbreaking. It really is. Cause
I can see this. I can see this.
Yeah,
yeah.
This is actual consequences of selfishness, where like you just wanted something because it meant something to you, and you couldn't get it because somebody decided they wanted to profit off of it instead. And it's deeply upsetting. It's so heartbreaking to hear that happened to you. And I'm sure you're not the only one either. I'm sure there's probably people out there still who wanted a mini SNES or something like that, and they still don't have one because, like, they were cheap. They were decently cheap, I think. There's a new listing here that says Super Nintendo Mini Classic Console, and that one's £30. So depending on where you look, you can get like a reasonable price, but it does seem like people are still trying their best to like take the piss, basically. Because I'm seeing a couple here that are like £175-200 for a mini SNES Classic, and it's just, it's like I say, I still don't have one.
I was so happy.
I couldn't afford it, and I just
this is messed up.
Yeah.
But during that time, I had a SNES, and I had all the games that were going to be on the SNES. So I was like, oh, I'm so safe. I don't have to handle this. So I had not even remembered that this was an issue. And then when I got that comment from Bell, I was like, oh, I totally forgot that this was even a thing. Because I think
just a flood of memories.
Because I worked at Toys R Us during that time. And I think another one that was releasing around that time was also the Sega Genesis. There was like a Sega Genesis one as well.
Oh yeah,
I believe. Yeah, and that one was like sold out immediately from my memory. And yeah, so just hearing Bell's story, or I guess reading Bell's story, it made me want to make this video because it's heartbreaking. Like and Bell is an adult, but I can't imagine like being a kid and being, oh, sorry, you can't have your SNES because that fucking homeless guy over there, that homeless looking dude who probably lives with his grandparents and doesn't own a razor, that guy, he got 12, so you can't have one.
I mean, Bell describes the person as a disheveled guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah,
I don't know if that's just because he was rushing, or if he was just an unkempt individual. But like,
I imagine he's fucking,
your mind,
he's hunchback.
Your mind conjures a certain type of person.
He comes in the fucking thing. But quite frankly,
oh god, I got it. I got the SNESes. No fucking games for kids. We're gonna make millions.
I just think, honestly,
it's like, great.
Now that I'm famous, I think Belle's just being entitled. She's just being, that's entitled behavior, Belle. Entitled behavior.
Allegedly. So, Cat on Venus 183. People even scalp things that aren't in production anymore. This is an interesting thing we need to touch on. Major issue in the CRT TV community. People grab all the free ones on Marketplace and flip them for 100 to 200, driving prices up needlessly when there's enough free ones for everyone. So Free and I wanted to touch on this one because we don't think this is necessarily scalping. We did have a discussion to think, okay, what's the definition of scalping? And like we've kind of covered it a bit. It's like, and generally we came to, it needs to be a new item that is just recently released and you can barely get it because people are buying more than they need to sell at a profit. CRTs are quite old tech. You can get them for free some places, but some people see the value in them. Like, in particular, fighting game players,
Yes.
they love a CRT because of the lack of input delay and stuff like that on older consoles. So I would consider that more price gouging. Like whoever's selling it, I guess, sees a gap in the market and they're like, oh, I can get some money out of this, rather than being like, somebody will get value out of this CRT. Instead, I'm going to have it sitting in my garage, gathering dust. You got something to say, Free?
He said the word, boys.
All right. I am okay with being wrong. I'm very okay with being wrong. I'm okay with being proven wrong. I'm okay with arguing, and I'm using arguing in the sense where we are trying to find a truth rather than like fuck you, no fuck you, no fuck you type thing. I'm okay with arguing if we are looking for a truth. And I say that because when I read this comment, I'm like, okay, that sounds like an issue maybe in the CRT TV community. And I'm going to do a little bit of research about it because I'm curious. But when I read that comment, my first thought was, this doesn't sound like scalping to me. This sounds like someone basically making themselves a distributor. Like they pick up these free TVs, and then they're just selling them. Like they know the TV's values, they know the TV's the sort of demand for them, so they're being a distributor. And I don't see the inherent issue with that. If people were buying a lot of CRTVs, is it TVs or is it CRT TVs? What's going on here?
CRT TVs.
CRT TVs. If people are going in and buying a lot of CRT TVs, picking up a lot of CRT TVs with the intention of creating an artificial demand for them, then yes, it is scalping. But if people are simply like buying or taking them off the hands of people who don't know their worth and then selling them for their worth, that in my humble, very famous opinion is not scalping. Scott, you wouldn't understand because you're not famous.
Of course, yeah. I've not made it there yet, so I'm sure you get like a bit more insight into these things once you've hit 100 views or something.
Exactly. Like that. So that is my opinion, and I am very willing to having that opinion changed, and I'm going to look into it because I'm curious. I'm gonna see if there's a thing on Reddit, just because I've never heard of that issue, and it's interesting to hear that issue. So
it's almost like a weird gray area because I remember when I worked at a clothes shop, I actually had a customer tell me once that they would buy stuff from the shop and then remove the tags and then resell it online pretending it was fancier, like a fancier brand.
Yes, and we got comments about that as well too.
Yeah, and sell it at a profit. And I'm like, I don't think that's scalping, but it is still a weird ethical gray area. All scalping is bad, but not all bad sales practices are scalping.
Just like all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs, bro.
Yeah.
Cheers.
And just like all freeze axes are famous and all Yuushas are not.
Nah, I feel like that's a different thing. Next comment is from Caffeine Tweaker. This person says, the Majora's Mask Collector's Edition was the start of my villain arc. I was second in line at GameStop. The person in front of me got theirs, and the cashier announced that they only had the one. I ended up caving and going to eBay, paid more than double, felt like shit, got it, and the box was all torn up, and it was the worst packaged item I've ever gotten off eBay. I'm talking single plastic bag as bubble wrap, zero care about it getting to me in one piece. I sent it back, got a refund, and never again have I engaged with a scalper. Fuck that. Fuck them. I did like the remake though, at least. Silver lining, I guess. The remake sucked. It's interesting to hear the story of someone who did what I could not, because I refused to buy anything. I wanted that Skull Kid statue so badly. He's like my favorite. He's arguably my favorite Nintendo character, Skull Kid. And eventually, I didn't mention this in the video, but I thought I would. Eventually, I got a Skull Kid figure, and I was like, that's enough for me. But I am considering now buying a Skull Kid statue because they are considerably cheaper, especially if you get them from like a Japanese website as well. So, yeah. Do you have any experience or?
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. I was gonna buy the collector's edition with the Skull Kid statue because I think at the time it was a Europe thing, right? The collector's edition. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't know if it was US as well, but I ended up not buying it. Instead, I bought a Yeti microphone so I could keep doing YouTube. But I'm having a look just now because you've got the 3DS, the one that I wanted, the Majora's Mask one. I didn't end up getting it. Because I remember you saying the other day when we were briefly discussing this that the Skull Kid statue had gone down in price, but based on what I'm seeing, it's ridiculously expensive still. For the collector's edition, that is, because I'm seeing here Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, 3DS, Special Limited Edition Bundle Pack 2015, £271 plus 37 delivery. There's the inbox sealed Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask Limited Edition 3DS XL,
Yes.
or new 3DS XL,
Yes.
for $2,261.
I think I should put mine back in the box.
Plop. plus 87 delivery. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot for delivery.
No, I hope nobody's paid that. Jesus, that's
don't
crazy.
Check the buy it now, or don't check the sold listings because that will piss you off beyond.
Well, actually, interestingly, I'm looking at the sold items, and the prices are all under £100.
Good.
So nobody's buying those. Nobody's buying at those prices. They're all. I don't know if it's sold November 2024. Okay, so these are recent sales as well. So I think there are maybe just some people who are trying their luck, so to speak.
From what I've seen on the Japanese website, is the statue sells for like 3,000 yen, which is about $25. So just from what I've seen. Maybe I was wrong in the video. That's all right. If at the very least you buy from a scalper, leave a negative review. Because what's gonna happen? You're not gonna be able to buy from them again. Good. Leave a negative review. Be like, hey, this person is a piece of shit, and screw scalpers. Screw their business.
Draconic Gremlin 7484 says you should see the Littlest Pet Shop prices online right now. As an LPS collector, I want to cry. So I don't know much about Littlest Pet Shop, but I believe you have some opinion of this.
A little bit, but it's kind of it's from my days at Toys R Us because I remember there being like certain collections that we would get, and my boss would be like, "Hey, these are really popular, so we're gonna put all the LPS, all the Littlest Pet Shop, like in the front row. So when people would walk in, they could just like walk in, grab it, and immediately go." I remember that, and I think I remember specifically my boss at the time buying a few of them, and I wasn't sure if it was to scalp, but now I had not thought about Littlest Pet Shop in 10 years. I just haven't. It's not been those 3 words have not been.
This was already an issue 10 years ago.
It's,
I guess, still a problem.
From what I believe, yeah, like because or at the very least, it was a popular in-demand item. I don't remember it ever selling out. Like when I worked at Toys R Us, I remember there was always Littlest Pet Shop on the shelves because we had to walk. I had to walk past them to get to the break room. So I would walk past them every day. I would see them every day. I don't know if they were being scalped at the time, but it's interesting now to see that they are being scalped. That it is an issue now. So it's just another one of those communities that maybe isn't like a nerdy community like the ones that you and I are in, but it is a community, and they're getting scalped. And we got quite a few of Littlest Pet Shop comments on this on the video, so it's something that I wanted to highlight.
So the prices are quite bad. There's like a set here I'm looking at, Littlest Pet Shop Teensies Super Pack or something like that, $149.99 for just like not even a particularly big pack, honestly. Yeah, that's crazy for just like little plastic figurines.
No, yeah, like I said, I don't have much to say about LPS, but just know that you're not alone, and we're all suffering right now. While reading the comments, part of me was enraged because I was like, wow, this is like, humans are bad. like humans, ultimately, my conclusion is, humans, boy do we suck ass. But it's a good thing to know that humans suck ass, and we're not in this alone.
Humans suck ass, but not all humans suck ass. Unless you're into that kind of thing.
Well, this one has nothing to do with scalping, but it made me happy. It's from another longtime viewer, and also I want to shout out this guy because he helped me quite a bit with some stuff. This is Mulvey747. He says, I don't collect a lot, so fortunately, I haven't had many run-ins with scalpers. Still, it's always crazy to hear about the depths people will sink to. I do have to get my hands on one of those Tough Guy 64 shirts. Hopefully, nobody's scalping them. Well, I have some good news for you, Mulvey. Nobody's scalping those t-shirts. Bad news for you, Mulvey. They're not real t-shirts. It was a comic strip, you dumbass. I'm sorry, Mulvey. Could you imagine, like, when I eventually do t-shirts? Because I have t-shirts for wrestling. I want to do t-shirts for Freeze X as well. If my t-shirts were to get scalped.
Would come full circle.
Yeah.
Like the t-shirt says, like, I fucking hate scalpers, and it's being scalped. Oh, that'd be amazing.
You had mentioned whenever you had made that little comic for me, because you did this sort of comic strips. You were like, we should actually do a Tough Guy 64 t-shirt, and I'm like, I think we should. What originally for what you drew, didn't it just say Tough Guy? And I was like, you should put a 64.
Yeah. It said Tough Guy. And it was just for the context of the comics. It was for the one of you saying, I fucking hate scalpers. I was like, oh, he's such a tough guy. Mm-hmm. And then it's like Tough Guy 64. And I was like, that brings it all together.
It does,
that feels more Freeze X.
It does. No, I like, I would like to eventually get like gym t-shirts made for Tough Guy 64. That'd be solid.
Hell yeah. Make a t-shirt that says training to beat up scalpers or something
that'd be good, dude. That's a good shirt. Quickly, no one tweet that. Tweet that because people will steal it. I got one more comment from Debug77-B. I remember seeing someone selling Pokemon Black 2 for $800 on Amazon once. Sad face. Oh no, it's like blank face emoji. That is an issue, but that's not a scalping issue. Because I had checked with him and I was like, was this during the craze? Or like, what was this during Pokemon Black 2's release? And he said it was a few years ago. And maybe I'm wrong. And like I said, I'm willing to be wrong. But I am perfectly okay with you taking and sort of a rare or an in-demand video game or a collector's item and selling it for insane amounts of money way down the line. You know, like I have no issue with people who are trying to sell Earthbound for $300. Like it's a rare game. People want that game. It's a cult classic. Like I have no issue with that. That said, I would never spend more than $100 on any Pokemon game. So,
Cool. Sorry, I got a visitor.
you got a visitor, little cat.
I think it's quite typical of people to sell things at, people want to get bang for their buck, essentially. Nobody's altruistic enough to sell Earthbound for pennies. So it's just typical story for these situations where if you have something that is old, especially if it's something of value, you're going to sell it for a decent profit, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. And that's all the comments. That's all the comments that I have for this video.
It's a good way to end on. You can't even see me because my cat's butt's in my face.
You can't read. Your cat can't read the room. Doesn't know you're doing a podcast type thing.
I'm on with the famous Freeze accent.
Exactly. Yeah, you're ruining his chances. There we go. I feel so much better. All right. So,
Good Lord.
So Scott, Yuusha, thank you so much for joining me on this. This was really cool. I like talking with you. I like doing this with Justin as well. I like to do more of this kind of content. Maybe not on main channel, but maybe other things. Is there anything that you want to currently promote, or are you wanting to keep all your stuff tight to the chest?
Download and play City Smash 2.
Oh yes. Scott is he's a part of a game develop.
So
yeah,
I work
promote
at a
yourself.
game studio. I work at a game studio called Paradigm Games. We make mobile games, and you can play City Smash 2, which is a game I've worked on. It's free to play, and it's really fun, and it's very cool. And it's constantly being updated with new stuff that I am working on. So download that, play it. Let me know how you like it in the comments. Enjoy it.
Yuusha also has a YouTube channel. Check it out. He might be doing some new stuff eventually because I am pushing him every day to make some new stuff. I don't want to be coming back alone. It sounds like other people are coming back as well that were kind of in our crew. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to him. Subscribe to me. I'm gonna make one more video on scalping. 1 second. And
This is how you get famous.
this is how I got famous.
This is how you do it.
I'm gonna make one more video on scalping, but I need time, and I want to properly research it, and it's gonna be on a lot of the stuff that we talked about in this video that we sort of replied to. Keep replying, keep leaving your comments, keep telling me about your pain. We might do this maybe once a month or so. I don't know. We'll see. But as in terms of like actually a scripted video, we'll do maybe. I plan on doing maybe one more. So yeah. Thank you.